In the vast tapestry of Native American history, countless tribes showcased extraordinary resilience and strength. Yet, 3 tribes, the Comanche, the Iroquois Confederacy, and the Apache, emerged as legends of terror, their names alone enough to send shivers down the spines of enemies. These tribes didn't just dominate, they redefined warfare with unmatched ferocity and cunning. As we unravel their chilling stories, consider the historical forces that shaped their power and the questions their legacies raise about survival, adaptation, and resistance in a rapidly changing world. The Comanche, Lords of the Plains. The Comanche, known as the Lords of the Plains, were a force of nature, their name derived from the Ute word, Comanchea, meaning, someone who always wants to fight or simply, enemy. How did a tribe from the Great Basin, originally part of the Shoshone, become so feared? Their roots trace back to the western United States, where they spoke a Uto-Aztecan language, linking them to other western tribes. The arrival of horses, introduced by Spanish settlers in the 16th century, was a turning point. Through trade with tribes like the Pueblo, who had access to Spanish goods, the Comanche exchanged buffalo hides and captives for horses, transforming their way of life. Why did horses become so central to Comanche power? These animals enabled them to expand across the buffalo-rich plains of eastern Colorado and western Kansas, turning them into master equestrians. Horses symbolized status and power, and Comanche society revolved around them. Children learned to ride young, and both men and women honed exceptional horsemanship. Their method of taming wild horses was ingenious, roping a horse, choking it until it fainted, reviving it by blowing air into its nostrils, and pairing it with a calm mare to build trust. After days of bonding, the horse was led into water or sandy creek beds to ease its resistance. Englishman William Blakemore, who lived among them for 8 years, marveled, on foot, they are slow and awkward, but on horseback, graceful, they are the most expert and daring riders in the world. In battle, the Comanche were a nightmare. How could a relatively small tribe of about 40,000 halt empires? They charged with deafening war cries, hiding behind their horses with only 1 foot visible, firing arrows with deadly precision. Each warrior had a prized war horse for battle, and even women were fearless, lassoing antelope and hunting buffalo. Their brutal raids, called the Comanche Moon, saw hundreds of warriors invade Mexican settlements at night, massacring men, abducting women, and stealing horses. Spanish soldiers, after Spain acquired Louisiana, noted their unmatched skill and fearlessness. General James Wilkinson called them the most formidable indigenous group, single-handedly stalling Spanish expansion for nearly 50 years. What drove the Comanches' relentless violence? Young warriors earned prestige through raids, proving their ability to kill and steal. Comanche women, too, were merciless, their torture methods so horrific that captives begged for death. Historian S.C. Gwynn, in Empire of the Summer Moon, wrote that no tribe caused such widespread havoc across Spanish, French, Mexican, Texan, and American territories. A chilling example is the 1836 attack on Fort Parker. Why did the Comanche use deception in warfare? One warrior waved a white flag, luring Benjamin Parker outside, only to spear him. The assault killed several settlers, mutilated John Parker, and impaled Granny Parker. Captives faced unimaginable tortures, roasted alive, scalped, buried with eyelids removed under the scorching sun, or sewn into tightening leather that suffocated them. The Iroquois Confederacy, the Six Nations. The Iroquois Confederacy, or Haudenosaunee, was a political and military juggernaut, uniting the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca, and later the Tuscarora. How did such diverse tribes form a lasting alliance? Based in present-day New York and Canada, their unity was a marvel of indigenous organization. The Mohawk, in the east, dealt with European settlers, while the Oneida and Onondaga, in the Great Lakes and central New York, brought geographic diversity. The Cayuga and Seneca, to the west and south, added strength. Why were they called Iroquois, a name meaning rattlesnake? This term, given by their Algonquin enemies, captured their stealth and lethality. Like a rattlesnake, they struck swiftly, decimating foes like the Huron, Erie, and Susquehannock. From childhood, Iroquois youth trained with bows, arrows, spears, and clubs, joining raids as adolescents to hone their skills. How did early exposure to warfare shape their society? Military prowess earned respect and the chance to become a war chief, a coveted role. Their treatment of captives was grim. Why did the Iroquois use rituals like running the gauntlet? Captives sprinted between two lines of warriors wielding thorny sticks, enduring brutal punishment that highlighted the intensity of intertribal conflict. The Beaver Wars of the 17th century saw the Iroquois expand their territory, subjugating the Susquehannock and weakening the Huron. By the early 1700s, they controlled lands from western New York to northern Michigan and south to Tennessee. How did their unity give them an edge? During the French and Indian War, all Iroquois nations aligned with the British, their cohesion proving, as Ecclesiastes 4 verse 12 states, a threefold cord is not quickly broken. The Apache, masters of guerrilla warfare. The Apache, part of the Athabascan language group, thrived in a vast region from the Arkansas River to northern Mexico and central Texas to Arizona. How did they survive surrounded by empires like the Spanish, Comanche, Ute, and Americans? Their rugged terrain shaped them into masters of guerrilla warfare, wielding bows and later European rifles. General George Crook called them the tigers of the human race for their ferocity. Why were the Apaches so adept at stealth? Their survival hinged on surprise attacks, emerging from hiding to strike and retreating into familiar terrain. They covered vast distances on foot or horseback, launching precise raids and vanishing before enemies could recover. How did they adapt European tools? They integrated Spanish horses and steel weapons, wielding lances and knives with deadly speed. Their archery was unmatched, firing 7 arrows before the first hit the ground. Physically, they outran cavalry, showcasing extraordinary endurance. The Apache showed no mercy. Why did they value new torture methods? Enemies were skinned, burned alive, or subjected to horrific fates, with children's heads smashed against walls. Their cruelty cemented their fearsome reputation, allowing them to resist powerful empires for centuries. The Comanche, Iroquois Confederacy, and Apache were not just warriors, they were architects of fear, shaping North America's history with their ferocity and ingenuity. Their stories raise questions about how environment, technology, and culture forged their power. What can we learn from their resistance against overwhelming odds? Share your thoughts below and reflect on the legacies of these extraordinary tribes.